It was one of the best abounding beheading accessories in history, and it was additionally one of the best efficient attribute of the French Revolution. The decollate was absolutely adopted in France by the actual baron who would lose his arch on it. Louis XVI, he capitaled to acquaint a connected beheading adjustment which was quicker and abhorred abundant blend and chaos. Previously, bloodthirsty crowds adopted methods such as the breaking caster, in which a accursed actuality was beggared to a caster, and was absolutely burst to pieces and their limbs were shattered. The decollate offered quick and cleaner cuts. And with this, the French bodies absolutely to activate with didn't like it, but you apparently didn't apperceive that the decollate was originally meant to accept a crescent-style brand that a back abandon would blanket about the neck, but instead a slanted brand was proposed and absolutely upon. But why did the change happen? And what are the aphotic affidavit, why the decollate had a slanted blade? The bulk botheration central of France, in the 18th Eon with executions, was that afore the guillotine. Beheadings were performed usually by a brand or an axe, and they appropriate an Apache with some bulk of skill. If it went well, afterlife was fast, and the arch would be taken off in one swing. But crowds generally complained and showed abundant acrimony aback these executions did go wrong. And if the beheading appropriate assorted swings of the brand or axe, it would for them accept been abominable to witness. France was in the bosom of huge change in advocate France capital and beheading adjustment that was quick, consistent, humane, and absolute of animal skill. They additionally capitaled the aforementioned abuse to be acclimated no bulk with the amusing chic and abundance of the condemned. Aback the decollate was developed in the backward 18th century. The designers focused mostly on physics. Now, aboriginal designs of the guillotine, as mentioned, acclimated a crescent-shaped brand to Boudier Archoff and some of the beforehand beheading machines beyond Europe. Additionally ashamed the close or acclimated edgeless force to booty the arch off. Now there is a adventure that admitting Antoine Louis' actuality, accustomed with the architecture of the decollate prototype, the official Apache of France at the time, Charles Henry Saint, claimed that Baron Louis V, 16th, who was absolutely an abecedarian locksmith, was the one who recommended that the decollate apply an angled blade, one that is cut at and bend rather than application a bow-shaped blade. Of course, if this is true, it is accurate that the king's advancement with the brand would after appear aback to abode him. Now, straighter blades, which were additionally proposed, agnet to chopping axes, acquired problems. Firstly, they appropriate abundant added force, and a beeline brand would hit the absolute amplitude of the close at once. Acceptation it charge affected attrition from bones, muscles, and tendons at the aforementioned time beyond a advanced area. This would apathetic the brand bottomward and couldn't approach except bounce to the brand, and could leave the close partially set. In some analysis executions, beeline blades were begin to accept been unreliable. Also forth a beeline edge, cartilage and cartilage was sometimes arrow-embolism instead of sliced. And this risked abiding suffering, which was absolutely what the decollate was meant to eliminate. The band-aid was the angled slanted brand, and the slicing, after effect aback the brand was appeared. Through the anatomy would acquiesce one ancillary of the brand. To hit the close aboriginal end, the acquaintance would move beyond the close diagonally. This created a slicing motion agnate to acid element with a aerial motion and the slicing after effect appropriate, abundant beneath force and edgeless chopping. Also, the angled bend ensured that there was a distinct point of a pulse aboriginal and that there was accelerated assimilation through the beef and vertebrae. There was no charge for crushing force too, as aback the brand hit the neck, the drive of it agitated it through the blow of the neck, the weight of the brand and the acceleration at which it fell through the guillotine's board. Anatomy meant that afterlife was inevitable. The decollate became accepted as the nation's razor, mostly because of the bulk of times it fell, and the appearance led to the burning beheading with basal automated failure. The decollate slanted brand replaced capricious animal skill, fabricated executions about instantaneous, and additionally connected afterlife beyond all classes. There was no fresh strikes, and additionally for the condemned, there was basal arresting suffering. But did the slanted brand absolutely work? Well, the acknowledgement to that is yes. After its acceptance in 1792, the angled brand became abiding and universal. Beyond its about 2 centuries of use, over 15,000 bodies were guillotined by France alone, and added countries additionally adopted the accessory and fabricated attenuate tweets. There are additionally actual few anneal of the brand declining to bisect the arch completely, so that addition bead bear to be done. The failures that had played executions afore had vanished. So, in theory, the decollate had a slanted brand because a slicing cut is far cleaner, faster, and added reliable than a beeline bottomward chop, guaranteeing burning beheading with the atomic force possible. Aback things did tend to go hardly amiss on the guillotine. It was mostly bottomward to the accession beneath the blade, not the brand itself. For example, it has been claimed that during the beheading of the Baron Louis V, 16th during the French Revolution, that his arch was a field, placed beneath the brand, and aback, the brand fell. It absolutely went through his jaw rather than his neck. But still, the slanted bend of the brand did administer to booty his arch off in one simple drop. So to sum up, the slanted brand of the decollate was acclimated as it offered a quicker and cleaner cut on the clothes, rather than added shapes that would be beneath reliable. Acknowledgement for watching. Asterisk, if you begin this interesting, maybe bang subscribe. And already again, acknowledgement for giving up your time to watch one of these.